they didn't
Hmm.
show the full performance
Hmm. Hmm.
and they didn't show a lot of what the coaches said either. But
Hmm.
what wasn't shown was that I got so much great, wonderful feedback
Okay.
from the coaches, and
Okay.
nobody was able to see that because they didn't end up using those clips. But
Oh.
I mean, I left, even though I lost, I knew
Hmm.
that I had still won because of
Hmm.
how much great feedback and how nice
Hmm.
they were about the whole situation. So, music and the music industry is so fluid and it's always changing. The advice that I always give to
Hmm.
people who are just starting out is you have to be okay with
Hmm.
failing. You
Oh,
have to
all
be
right. That's
okay with not succeeding
hmm.
because it's inevitable. I mean, you're gonna have people that don't like what you do. You're gonna have
Hmm.
people that love what you do. You're gonna have situations that you wish turned out different, and that's just so much of the process, especially when you're just learning. So it's a really good tool to have to be able to
Hmm.
fail
Hmm.
successfully, take from that experience instead of being completely shut down and completely turned away from it.
No.
I can't look at the stars. They make me wonder where you are. Stars up on heaven's boulevard. If I know you at all. I know you've gone too far, so I can't look at the stars.
So, how did your music journey begin? Like, when did you realize that you have the aptitude for singing of all the art forms, and then you wanted to, pursue this as a career?
Sure. So I've been doing music for as long as I can remember. My
Hmm.
parents were in a band and they met
Oh,
through music.
that's.
So my whole life has kind of been
Hmm.
surrounded by it. And I really got a kick for it in, I would say, middle school was
Hmm.
really when I started focusing on it. And then I made the choice to pursue it as my college
Oh.
dream and my college route in my sophomore year of high school.
Oh, that's really sweet to know. And what are these any special pre-performance routines that you might follow before that you would have followed while you were performing for The Voice, or that you follow in general in your day-to-day performances?
Yeah, so my voice is actually pretty sensitive, so I
Hmm.
have to take a lot of precautions.
Hmm.
And something that I do when I warm up that really opens me up is I actually take a shower because the
Oh.
steam is super helpful for opening really, really nicely.
Oh, that's really sweet. And Derek, now that you have been part of The Voice and now that your journey at The Voice has ended, so like how different has your life been? The kind of recognition that you have been getting, the kind of opportunities that you have been getting after your, I would say, after your presentation at The Voice. How different it has been?
Yeah. So I didn't actually make it that far in the
Hmm.
competition, so I haven't really had people come up to me in person. But the one thing that has totally changed is if I want to do gigs and
Hmm.
I send an email and I mention that I'm from The Voice, I get so many more responses
Hmm.
than I ever did before with that under my belt or like on my belt. So that's been really interesting to see the level of, oh my gosh, we would love to have you do a gig. So that's really cool.
That's really sweet to know. And since you have been very proactively performing gigs and you have been as a contestant at The Voice, what is this like a major difference that you find while you're performing for such a large audience on a national TV show, reality show, and while you're performing for a small audience, like for the gigs that you perform? What's the major difference that you have noticed?
So, I mean, to me, it doesn't really matter the size of the audience. It's still
Hmm.
gonna be like, I'm gonna do my best and everything. But what was different for The Voice versus like a standard gig that I do is I was like so checked out when I was
Hmm.
on stage for The Voice. I like my mind went completely blank pretty much while I was on that stage, but in like my day-to-day gigs that I do, it's a lot more present. So yeah, that's what I would say.
So the pressure that you might have felt at The Voice, do you not feel that while you're performing gigs, are you more free and more creative while you are there for a gig or a performance other than you did when you were at The Voice?
Honestly, I I don't really get stage fright at all, so I
Hmm.
wasn't
Hmm.
really nervous, funny enough, when I was about to go on. I was more excited than anything. But what's different about The Voice and the gigs that I do is that The Voice is all covers and my
Hmm.
gigs are mostly original music.
Hmm.
So I'm a lot more in my head when I'm performing my original songs because there's a lot more meaning that I like have taken with
Okay.
me. So, yeah.
That's nice. And since you talked about you not having stage fright, which is something I think very crucial when you have to perform for a music reality show, but did you ever feel intimidated by rest of the contestants, like being worried over how far would you even make on the show, or did you ever feel nervous, like listening to other singers sing so well?
I think what's really nice about The Voice is that everybody is so different to
Hmm.
the point where it's hard to really compare yourself to the other contestants because everybody's sound is
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
completely in their own box.
Hmm.
So that was really nice going into it, being able to see this huge variety of talent and singers, knowing that everybody really was super unique.
That's really sweet of you to say that. And since you talked about every singer being unique on their own, what was this one uniqueness that you carried with yourself? Something for which you were very confident that you felt like this is something that sets you apart from other singers.
I feel like I'm very in tune with my emotions when I
Yeah.
sing. That's something that I've really worked on throughout my musical career
Yeah.
is really being able to portray a message or a theme through a song. And I think that really helps me when I'm singing because you can feel the
Hmm.
difference between,
Hmm.
singing without emotion and singing with emotion.
Oh, that's very true. I mean that's the reason why some singers come across as people you immediately connect with, and for some singer it just seems like they're just doing a job and not very immersed into the art form. So that's really nice
Exactly.
to know. And
Yeah.
since you had a chance to get coached by such leading singers at the show, and what were your experience with the different coaches, and were there any specific lessons that you took with yourself while you were there?
Yeah, so I went into the season pretty much knowing that no matter who turned around, I wanted to
Hmm.
go with Michael Bublé, and that really ended up paying off because he is such a genuine
Hmm.
person. He's so humble and he's so smart, and it was just like such this mind-blowing experience to learn from somebody you think is like so above you and so
Hmm.
wise, and then he's right in front of you giving you great advice, and it's just it was so great.
That's really sweet to know. And while you were there performing and having like being performing in front of such a huge audience and getting so much love on social media, did you ever come across some sort of criticism that you felt like, maybe you need to improve something that you have not thought about before, and it was at the voice that you got to know that maybe this is something that I can work better on?
So a lot of the criticism that not just me but a lot of us
Hmm.
got online was from honestly, a lot of the older people. It
Hmm.
wasn't a lot of people our age,
Hmm.
at least for my friends, that was chiming in. It was a lot of people much older that were saying some pretty harsh things, but I think it's really important to
Hmm.
know as an artist when to
Hmm.
draw
Hmm.
the line and what are
True.
you going to listen to and what are you going to
Hmm.
completely brush off because it's
Hmm.
nonsense. And a lot of the really good advice that I got was from my
Hmm.
peers on the show and from the coaches on the show, from the people who actually knew what they were talking about. And so I mean, some of the stuff that people were saying, not just for me, but again, for everybody,
Everybody.
was literally insane because people don't think that we read everything,
Oh,
but we do.
yeah. And it's really important to not let trolls affect you so much because people just have so much free time. And since there are no consequences of dropping comments on social media, they don't even think twice before doing it. And
Exactly.
that's really so. What was your favorite performance from The Voice? Like the song that you performed that was the most close to your heart, the performance that would be the most memorable for you. If you could just like let us know about that.
Yeah. So I sang two songs on the show. I sang
Mm,
Stars and You Make My Dreams Come True by Hall & Oates.
mm.
And honestly, I loved my blind audition. I had so much fun with that song and I wish I could do it again. I really liked my blind audition song.
So you have you performed the same song that you did at your blind audition at one of your gigs or any of the other performances that you put for people?
Yeah, so my second semester of college, and at Berkeley we have a class called private instruction where it's just you and like a teacher of your instrument, just one-on-one. And we worked on stars. This was before The Voice. We worked on stars for that whole semester as one of my
Hmm.
final pieces. So I got to do that as my final, and I did that in front of some other teachers as well. And so having that entire semester
Hmm.
of work for the song before I did the song was
Hmm.
so helpful because I wasn't going in blind. It wasn't really a blind audition because
Hmm.
I totally knew what I was doing.
That's good. So since you have even like studied music, and there are a lot of singers who do not like study music per se with their education, they just like use their talent and whatsoever they have learned elsewhere. Do you think that it puts you at a better edge compared to other singers, given you come from an educational background also that like deals with music?
I mean, honestly, I think it does. And I think they both go hand in hand, both
Hmm.
directions.
Hmm.
Having all of this knowledge and
Hmm.
education and influence from so many different areas
Hmm.
of the music realm has
Hmm.
really, really helped me. Because just in Berkeley, I have all of this
Hmm.
education. And then doing the voice, now I'm bringing a lot more education
Hmm.
in from
True.
experience that a lot of people here don't have. So it works both ways, and it was really, really great.
That's really nice. So, after you have been at The Voice, has it changed you as a singer, as a performer? Were there few things that you did not do before The Voice, and but now you have incorporated them in your, music routine or the songs you make and the way you sing? So, is there anything new that you have been doing after The Voice?
Yeah, so preparing for the voice with my private instruction teacher, I love her
Mm.
so much. I, from the time I got to Berkeley to
Mm.
now, have completely rejuvenated my
Mm.
voice and I'm learning how to sing more correctly and I'm
Mm.
working on technique
Mm.
and going into the voice. When
Mm.
I first started singing Stars at the beginning of the second semester, it was not at all what it sounded like when
Okay.
I ended up doing that
The Voice.
final
True.
show and then the voice.
Hmm.
So it has completely changed how I sing, to be honest. Like it's
Hmm.
totally changed everything.
That's really good to know. And now I'll just be asking like about since like you had a chance, your journey at The Voice mostly was with two songs and such. And like, what was your reaction when you realized that this is where your journey at The Voice ends and you won't be able to like get further with this? How did you feel that day?
So, I mean, it was really crazy
Mm.
because me and my battle partner, we were
Hmm.
both
Hmm.
given this song to sing together. And
Hmm.
we both didn't really like vibe with it, honestly, when we found out what it was gonna be.
Hmm.
I mean, it was different for him, but for me at least, the song it's sung by two men,
Hmm. Hmm.
and the key that it was in, we did it in
Hmm.
the original key, and it didn't really, in my opinion, showcase a lot
Hmm.
of what I
Hmm.
do
Hmm. Okay.
just because of where it was for me vocally.
Hmm.
It seemed very like I wasn't stretching
Hmm.
anything. It
Hmm.
was just much what it was.
Hmm.
So I wish we could have done a song that
Hmm.
showcased both of us a bit
Hmm.
better. I mean, it was still a lot of fun. We got to learn
Yeah, I
from
mean,
my
it's
play
totally
and then
understandable. Two
get
different
a repo.
singers, and if you ask them to sing one particular song, so the other one, like one of them, I think does get an undue advantage when it comes to different songs because each one of them has a different capability and such. So like, did you take the elimination as something you felt like, okay, all right, you gave your best, and this is the result, and you shouldn't really be obsessing a lot over it, or like, did you feel more sad about this? What was the reaction of your fans online, if you can share about that?
Honestly, I mean, what had ended up happening for our that battle is we ended up getting montaged, so they didn't
Hmm.
show the full performance,
Hmm. Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they didn't show a lot of what the coaches said either. But
Hmm.
what wasn't shown was that I got so much great, wonderful feedback
Okay.
from the coaches, and
Okay.
nobody was able to see that because they didn't end up using those clips. But
Oh.
I mean, I left, even though I lost, I knew that
Hmm.
I had still won because of how
Hmm.
much great feedback and how nice they
Hmm.
were about the whole situation. So
So
yeah.
you don't have any regrets of like you could have done better, and maybe you feel that your journey at The Voice has been unfulfilled. It looks like you were very like happy even with your elimination. You were like happy that you performed to your best ability, and the coaches, everybody really liked what you did.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I maybe I'm a little biased, but I thought I did a great job.
That's great. That's
Honestly, I wouldn't have changed anything that I had
good.
done for that performance. And the coaches really appreciated my performance as well. So I went
Hmm.
off
Hmm.
even though I ended
That's
up losing
really
that battle. I left knowing that I did my best and
yes.
the coaches thought I did my best as well.
Yeah, I think that's the best feeling. It's not really that you lose something. The worst feeling is that maybe you didn't try enough. And since you are confident that you tried enough, I can totally understand that you must have put your best performance there. And
Yeah.
since you come from a musical background, like your parents have been part of music, you like come from an educational background that is like from music. Who are your biggest musical inspirations? People you look up to whenever you feel sad about yourself, or you want to learn something new about music. So, who are your biggest musical inspirations?
My biggest musical inspirations are the people that I surround myself with in real life,
Okay.
to be honest, because I have so many great artists that I love, but you know, I'm never going to have a conversation with them. And
Hmm.
I'm never going to be able to learn one-on-one with
Hmm.
a lot of people. But the people at my school and the people from The Voice and my
Hmm.
parents,
True.
everybody in my life that does music is my biggest inspiration because I can physically learn from them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's really sweet to know. And what are your plans now? Like, how are you looking forward to develop your career trajectory with music? What are the new performances that are coming up? What new songs are you putting on your Spotify? Is there any new music that you have been developing? Just let us know about it.
Yeah, so I have a lot of music on
Hmm.
Spotify at the moment, and I have this band here at Berkeley, and we're
Hmm.
working on my second album now.
Oh.
So that's really exciting. That's being mixed and produced at the moment, so I'm really excited for that to be coming out.
That's really sweet. So, if there was a young singer and somebody who really wanted to like learn singing was to come to you for an advice and ask you like, what is it that I should keep in mind while I decide to pursue a career in music and be a musician? What is it that one golden advice that you will give them?
Music and the music industry is so fluid and it's always changing. The advice that I always give to
Hmm.
people who are just starting out is you have to be okay with
Hmm.
failing. You
Okay.
have to
All
be
right. That's
okay with not succeeding
hmm.
because it's inevitable. I mean, you're gonna have people that don't like what you do. You're gonna have
Hmm.
people that love what you do. You're gonna have situations that you wish turned out different, and that's just so much of the process, especially when you're just learning. So it's a really good tool to have to be able to
Hmm.
fail
Hmm.
successfully, take from that experience instead of being completely shut down and completely turned away from it.
No, that's really sweet. And I think it's just not something that people should use with music in general. This is about life in general. Like, there's so many things that do not go your way, but like you always need to get going with it. That's really sweet to know. So, Naomi, how do you maintain like how do you stay connected with your audience now that you have such like decently large following and social media, and now that you perform gigs and you are releasing your album now, you're part of a band. So do you do anything extra and do anything special to stay connected with such a wide audience who is your fan?
Yeah, so I'm always posting covers and original
Hmm.
stuff online, and I think it's really important as much as like it's just as important posting that more intimate
Hmm.
stuff as it's posting the bigger
Hmm.
shows because it shows you in so many different lights and
Hmm.
you're able to connect to people much more intensely when it's a smaller group.
Hmm.
So I think paying attention to each and every person is so important, not just thinking of everybody as like this whole, but
Hmm.
rather the more individual viewers that are watching is super important.
That's really sweet to know. And I did go through your performance, the first audition performance that you had for The Voice. And if you could sing that song for us, like for the audience that would be watching the interview, that would be really nice.
The whole thing or just part of it?
Just a snippet.
Sure. Um, I can't look at the stars. They make me wonder where you are. Stars up on heaven's boulevard. If I know you at all, I know you've gone too far. So I can't look at the stars.
That's very sweet. Like it's very different from your voice that I was just hearing while we were having this interview. And it's really nice, I mean, honestly. And so like what is your final message for the fans and the supporters who would be watching this interview on our channel? Like any last messages, any new hype and information that you would like to give them, any more updates?
Just if you want more updates, follow my Instagram. It's Naomi Soleil _. I'm always posting new stuff. I'm always looking for more music. So yeah, keep exploring, keep staying curious.
That's really sweet, Naomi, and it was such a pleasure having this interview with you. And I wish you all the best for your music career. And yeah,
Thank
I will
you.
make sure to stay updated on your page and looking up to all the new works that you put. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a nice day.